Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Obviously, a lot of us in this fan base are kind of down and out right now. We're ready to flush this season and look ahead to 2024, and I understand that, but Tennessee has a big football game coming up on Saturday against the Georgia Bulldogs. How does this fan base respond? What is the atmosphere like in Neyland Stadium when the number one team comes to town and a lot of us feel like we've got nothing to play for? There's no New Year's Six Bowl. There's no shot at Atlanta. Can this football team go into that game on pride and pride alone and give the Georgia Bulldogs a game? Look, the bottom line is Georgia only favored by 10, and I know it's what have you done for me lately, right? We look at what Tennessee has done lately, and they got embarrassed by Missouri on Saturday afternoon. They did. How do they respond? Can they fight back? Because this team, this unit, this Josh Heupel football team is not going to be defined by one game. How do they respond? That's an interesting question, but a lot of us are ready to move on to 2024. We're ready to build for the future. I made a video on Nico Iamaleava. Is it finally time to give the kid a chance to go out and play with the ones? If you missed that video, go back and give it a watch. A couple of videos went out yesterday. Go check those out. But I want to talk about the COVID years. As we look ahead to 2024, year 4 of the Josh Heupel era, a big question everybody has asked is who has an opportunity to come back? You're losing a lot on this offensive line, but Boogie, who has that extra year of eligibility? We're going to break it down position by position, but as always, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up just below the video. It is quick, free, and easy. It does help this channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't talk at you here. We talk with you. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. If you like the content, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. We'll be live tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, playing NCAA football and talking all things Tennessee. If you've never been a part of that stream, come check it out. Also, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be making our official predictions for the Tennessee-Georgia game coming up on Saturday. But let's pull up the depth chart and let's kind of go through it here. Let's take a look offensively, defensively, what this football team is going to look like next year. We'll scroll up here back to the offense. Obviously, quarterbacks, Joe Milton out of eligibility. He will be off and gone, and this football team becomes Nico Iamaleava's. We're all excited about the future under Nico, but also Gaston Moore will be back. And I think Gaston Moore, a lot of people talk about what he did in the spring game. They talk about how he knows the offense. You know, I think it's a beautiful thing that Gaston Moore is a part of this football team. Technically, Taven Jackson should be on this football team, and there should be a quarterback competition coming up next fall, but he's off to Indiana. Nico's the guy. Gaston Moore is a valuable backup. Obviously, you're going to be bringing in 4-star quarterback Jake Merklinger, but when we move over to the running back room, Jabari Small is a guy that's a senior. The NFL, or whether that's whatever he wants to do with his life, but he does have a COVID year. So it's interesting when you look at that running back room because the year that Jalen Wright is having, and again, you're not going to be defined by that Missouri game. Jalen Wright trying to track down a 1,000-yard season, still averaging, after last week, still averaging 7.2 yards per carry. I think it's safe to say that Jalen Wright is off to the NFL. So does Jabari Small look to come back? Hey, he could be the all-time leading rusher at Tennessee when it's all said and done. Is that what Jabari Small wants to do? But I think your running back room is going to be in pretty good hands. Jabari Small, Dylan Sampson, Cam Seldon. I think a lot of you guys feel like Dylan Sampson is going to push to be that RB1. He's going to kind of take Jalen Wright's spot. So does Jabari Small want to come back if that's the case? If he doesn't feel like he can compete, if he feel like he's going to be a backup and not get as many carries, is that what Jabari Small wants to do? But regardless, I think this running back room is going to be in a good spot. We move over to wide receiver. Bru McCoy is the only wide receiver that has a COVID year, and had he stayed healthy, had he not got hurt, I think Bru McCoy was going to be looking to go off to the NFL. So I think a lot of it is going to depend on his rehab. What's his body look like? What's his body feel like? What does the NFL say? Are they willing to take a chance on Bru McCoy? Did he put enough on tape in his time at Tennessee to get off to the NFL? But he's going to have that option to come back. And, you know, we've seen Dante Thornton, a guy that, you know, he was starting to come along, moving to the outside from the slot. We really saw him start to come into his own. Unfortunately, he makes that, what an amazing catch he made against Missouri. Goes down banged up. He left the stadium on crutches in a boot. We'll see how healthy he is. But I think Dante Thornton's going to be coming back for his senior year. I don't think he's done enough to get off to the NFL like he had hoped. But your wide receivers could technically be Bru McCoy, Squirrel White, Dante Thornton rolling into 2024. I think that's an interesting thing worth noting. What does Bru do? What do you guys think Bru McCoy elects to do. I think a lot of it just comes down to health and his body, and is the NFL willing to take a chance. Tight end position, no COVID years there, so we'll move right on to the offensive line, and I think this is the most important unit of the bunch as we roll into 2024. And some of you may say, well, this offensive line is not very good. They struggle. They do struggle at times. And, they were leading the SEC in rushing yards going into last week. They struggled to run the football. They're still second. They're still averaging 213 yards per game on the ground. You look at protecting the quarterback, what they've been able to do. They've only given up 16 sacks on the season, 14 to Joe Milton, 1 to Nico, 1 to Gaston Moore. I think they've done a good job in the run game for the most part. They've struggled at times. Again, you got to look back to that Florida game. Cooper Mays wasn't healthy for that game, and Cooper Mays is the first guy I go to when this season wraps up. What does it take? Coop, what do you want? What do you want to do? We're going to do something special at Tennessee in 2024, but we need you to be a part of it. Cooper Mays is the anchor. Cooper Mays is the heartbeat. Cooper Mays is what makes this offense click when they get going fast, when tempo picks up. Cooper Mays is the anchor, and he does have a COVID year available. Also, John Campbell at left tackle has his COVID year available. Does he elect to come back? Javonte Spraggins, Gerald Mincey, Dane Davis, Jackson Lampley. A lot of guys on this offensive line have COVID years. The question is, how many of them are willing to use that? I would guess that Javonte Spraggins is probably off to the league. Cooper Mays, is he off to the NFL? Is he done playing football? Is he done playing football at the college level? Some of the stories we've heard is how Cooper Mays came in as kind of the little brother, the kid brother. He was on the Vol Club Confidential with AP. Most of his friends were upperclassmen. His brother, Trey Smith, those are the guys that took him under his wing, and now he's that upperclassman, not really surrounded by his buddies anymore. Does he want to come back and do it one more time? If you ask me, looking at the offensive line, the starters, put the number at 1.5. What do you guys think? 2 or 1? The line's 1.5. How many offensive linemen elect to come back to this football team? But I think that is a key piece. The offensive line, the defensive line, if all these guys elect to move on and go on and do something else, you're going to have to hit the portal heavy, and you're going to have to hit the portal quick. Let's roll over to the defensive side of the ball. Looking at the defensive line, guys that have a COVID year, Tyler Barron, I think he's off to the NFL, but he does have that COVID year available. Outside of that, nobody else on the edge has that option. But you look at what we've got at Leo. Roman Harrison, he's out of eligibility, but you got James Pierce and Joshua Josephs. I think you're sitting pretty good there. You move over to the defensive end spot. Dominic Bailey's got some eligibility left. Tyree West, saw him out there on the field a lot this past week. I think he's starting to come along. But Tyler Barron's the only one there that has that extra year of eligibility. I don't see him using it. Then you move to the interior. Very similar to the offensive line. I think if you don't convince some of these guys to come back, I think you're going to have to go heavy into the portal to replace some guys at the defensive tackle position. Omari Thomas, Elijah Simmons, Omar Norman Lott, Bryson Eason all have a COVID year available. Of course, Omar Norman Lott, only a junior. So it's just like that offensive line. How many of these guys are done playing football? I could see Elijah Simmons is a guy that started to come on the last couple of weeks. He's the guy that we are always waiting. When's he going to show out? When's he going to be the guy we thought he could be? He's been playing good football. Does he elect to come back? How, and a lot of this is, again, going to go back to draft stock. What is their, the draft status? What does it look like going into that? But again, it's crucial. How many guys? I put the number at 1.5 again between the defensive tackles. Omari Thomas, Elijah Simmons, Omar Norman Lott, Bryson Eason. That's a lot of guys that have been playing good football. Omar Norman Lott, Omari Thomas have been playing good football. Does Big O elect to go off to the NFL? I think Omar Norman Lott could go off to the NFL. We move over to linebacker where it really gets interesting because we thought we were going to have two veteran guys out there side by side with Aaron Beasley and Keenan Peely, and they were playing complementary football until Keenan Peely went down. Now, we were told he was supposed to be back in October, maybe early November, where there's no sign of Keenan Peely returning to that football to this football team. Is that by design? Is that because he is planning to file a waiver and try to get that medical red shirt to come back for one more year? That's on the table, and I think that would be huge. We've heard guys like Elijah Herring, guys like Jeremiah Telander, Caleb Perry talk about how much Aaron Beasley means to this football team. He's out of eligibility. So if you could get Keenan Peely back for another year, you've got that veteran leadership in a linebacker room that's full of talent. Now, Keenan Peely, he's married. What does he want to do in life? Is he ready to move on? I don't think he's a guy that's going to go off to the NFL, but is he ready to move on with life? What's next? When you're married, you got a family. There are so many things that go into that. Does he want to come back and play another year of college football? But I think it would be a huge, huge step if they could get Keenan Peely back on this football team. So we move over to the secondary. The last group here we'll take a look at. Tamarion McDonald, Warren Burrell, Brandon Turnage, Danico Slaughter, Wesley Walker, Gabe Judy Lawley all have an extra year of eligibility. I think, you look at some of the guys on this football team. Tamarion McDonald, I think, has been playing good football. I think he was a big part of the struggles against Missouri when he went down early in that football game. Warren Burrell, I think he's the guy that's probably done with football. He's a guy that the more his career is played out, the further down the depth chart he gets. I don't see Warren Burrell coming back. Brandon Turnage, I would almost say the same thing. Brandon Turnage, guy, we keep waiting. We keep waiting for him to break out. We just see him in small spots. We never really see Brandon Turnage ball out the way we saw him ball out a couple of years ago when Theo Jackson was down. Brandon Turnage came in and played good football. Danico Slaughter, Wesley Walker. I think Wesley Walker is a guy that's played good football. I think Gabe Judy Lawley is a guy that has played some good football this year. I think he's a guy that another year of development, he could come back and he probably could boost his draft stock. But those are the guys that have an extra year of eligibility. When you look at it, there are a lot of positives, man. There are a lot of positives here of what this roster could look like moving forward. The date that they have to declare is January the 15th, so there's going to be a lot of portal activity. There's going to be a lot of talk about COVID years, but I think you can get excited about the future of this football team. What are your thoughts? Who are the most important players on this football team that we went through today that have that extra year? Who would you like to see back? I want you guys to jump in the comment section and let me know. As always, do me a favor and smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the merchandise for the Talkin VAWLS Network. You guys already know where, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. That link is in the description below. And as always, shout out to the members of the channel. You guys drive this thing. Appreciate your support. You want to support this channel. You like the videos, the content, the live streams, the community aspect. Hit the join button down below for as little as $1 a month. Just $1 a month. You can support what we are building around here. You want to give a little bit more. There's access to fan call-in shows, all kinds of fun perks and benefits. But that's going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.